Greetings, everyone. I am Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility, here to report another loss in the music industry, once again in the jazz world. One of the all-time great drummers, percussionist, pianist, composer, the late, great Jack DeJohnette, passed away October 26, 2025, at the age of 83. Born August 9th, 1942 in Chicago, Illinois. He actually was living, I didn't know this, he was living here locally in the Hudson Valley in Woodstock, New York, up until his passing. A giant in the jazz world. This guy, as well as his extensive work over the years as a band leader, he was very notable throughout his career as a sideman and collaborator for some of the all-time greats. And he's one of the all-time greats, too. Perhaps you know some of these names. Charles Lloyd, Miles Davis, Freddie Hubbard, Keith Jarrett, Bill Evans, Sonny Rollins, Michael Brecker, Pat Metheny, Herbie Hancock, John Abercrombie, John Scofield, among many, many others. Multiple-time Grammy winner, and inducted into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame in 2007. He leaves behind an enormous legacy of recordings, and it's just amazing. I'm going to talk a little bit about his discography. You know, a very well-respected drummer, not only in jazz and fusion, but also R&B and funk. And he basically could play, another one of those guys could basically play anything. He was so in demand. He's played on so many records that probably many of you watching have heard at least once or twice. Let's take a look at some of that stuff. So, you know, as a leader or co-leader, you know, he started recording back in the late 60s. But you can go back even further for some of the other things that he's appeared on. I mean, he's appeared on Jackknife by Jackie McLean, Dreamweaver by the Charles Lloyd Quartet, as well as The Flowering, Forest Flower, Charles Lloyd in Europe. He's on Herbie Hancock's Blow Up album. Appeared on a ton of other Charles Lloyd albums. Tetragon by Joe Henderson, Demon's Dance by Jackie McLean. Bill Evans at the Montreux Jazz Festival from 1968. That's Jack on drums. He played on The Song for You by Stan Getz. He played on Leo Konitz's Piecemeal from 1969. Chick Corea's album Is, also from 1969, as well as Sundance. Joe Henderson's Power to the People. Miles Davis at the Newport Jazz Festival. He also appeared on one of, if not the first fusion albums of all time, The Bitches Brew Session. You know, alongside some other jazz greats on the drums like Billy Cobham and whatnot. But Jack was basically like the drum leader in this outfit right during that weekend long of recordings that later became Bitches Brew. He was a very valuable asset to Miles Davis and this group that also included Wayne Shorter and Joe Zawinul, Chick Corea, John McLaughlin, Lenny White, Billy Cobham, like I mentioned, Benny Maupin, and a whole host of other ones. He plays on Wayne Shorter's excellent Supernova album, Miroslav Vitous's great Infinite Search album, Miles Davis's Circle in the Round, the Jack Johnson album appears on that as well. You can also hear some of the recordings from this era later released on an album by Miles Davis called Directions. It has a whole host of other folks on it, including some of the ones I just mentioned, as well as Herbie Hancock, Steve Grossman, McLaughlin, Dave Holland, Corea, Zawinul, Wayne Shorter, so on and so forth. He's on Miles Davis's Big Fun album. He also was part of the band that played and headlined at the Fillmore East in 1970, as well as the Fillmore West that same year. Live at the Fillmore East album, and Black Beauty, live at the Fillmore West for Miles. Played with the Joe Farrell Quartet. Was on Round Trip by Sadao Watanabe. Played on Chick Corea's The Sun, Freddie Hubbard's Straight Life, George Benson's Beyond the Blue Horizon, Hubert Lawes' Rites of Spring album, Joe Zawinul's self-titled debut, Freddie Hubbard's First Light, as well as Polar AC, Joe Henderson's Black is the Color, Miles Davis On the Corner, Sonny Rollins, The Next Album, Joe Farrell's Moon Germs, Gabor Szabo's Mizrab, Joe Henderson's Multiple, Dave Lieberman's First Visit, George Benson's Body Talk, Paul Desmond's Skylark, Alice Coltrane and Carlos Santana's Illuminations. I had no idea he played on that album. That's a great album. John Abercrombie's Timeless album. That's the trio with Jan Hammer, which was released in 1975, I believe it was. 74, 75. Terrific, terrific album. Chet Baker's She Was Too Good to Me. Stanley Turrentine, Have You Ever Seen the Rain? Cannonball Adderley's Lovers album. I mean, we're only in the mid-70s now. I can go on and on. There's a ton of others. McCoy Tyner's Super Trios. He's done stuff with Billy Connors and John Gabarek. He's on the Places album. John McLaughlin's Electric Guitarist album. Super Blue by Freddie Hubbard. Ron Carter's A Song for You. Lots of Ron Carter solo records that he played. And he played on To Be Continued with Terje Ripdahl. John Sermon's The Amazing Adventures of Simon Simon. You know, if we go up, there's lots of recordings with Michael Brecker and Steve Swallow, Joe Henderson, Ernie Watts, Herbie Hancock's The New Standard, right? Tales from the Hudson, great album with Michael Brecker. Steve Kahn's Got My Mental. Mike Stern's Give and Take from 1997. Chris Potter's Unspoken. And if we go all the way up to, you know, more recent times here, you know, he's played with Dave Fashinsky, Dave Liebman, Antonia Farrow, Wadada Leo Smith, George Cooligan. Yeah, more with McCoy Tyner. I mean, just an incredible, incredible career. And like I said, those are just, that's him as a sideman. If you go look at all of the leader or co-leader albums, there's just a ton of good ones. You know, with, like I said, people like Abercrombie. He's a part of the Gateway Band with John Abercrombie and Dave Holland. Those albums are incredible if you haven't heard them. Did a duo album called Pictures with John Abercrombie. Worked with Pat Metheny. He's on the Terje Ripdahl, Miroslav Vitous, Jack DeJohnette album from 1978 on ECM. He did a ton of stuff on the ECM label. Stuff with Chico Freeman and Rufus Reed. Yeah, I mean, this is like Parallel Realities with Pat Metheny and Herbie Hancock from 1990. Music for the Fifth World with Vernon Reid, John Schofield, and others. So yeah, this is a absolute legend. A drummer that everybody wanted to play with, and many of them did. And he's going to be sadly missed. And I think just another one of those go-to guys in the jazz and fusion world who you could count on to fill any slot, and just everybody wanted to have on their album. And that's kind of how it worked in the jazz world in the 60s and 70s especially. You had these guys who were just, you know, everybody knew each other, everybody played with each other, and when someone was doing a new album, they would go put out that dream list of who they wanted to work with. And guys like Jack DeJohnette frequently got the call to go play with some of these other legends. So now, you know, one by one, they're all up there playing once again together, and hopefully creating some cool music. So, yeah. Jack DeJohnette leaves us at the age of 83. Passed away on October the 26th, 2025. So go celebrate the life and music of Jack DeJohnette. Like I said, there's lots to choose from. If you are someone who listens to a bit of fusion and jazz and whatnot, chances are you have some albums in your collection that Jack was a part of. Go pull a couple out and play and listen to his amazing drum skills. So good, so lyrical with what he did, and yeah. Really great player. So that's my little tribute to Jack DeJohnette. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram all the damn time. Rest in peace, Jack DeJohnette. We'll see you soon here with more stuff. Take care. Bye-bye.